everything at sales. When you learn how to speak the right words and create money out of thin air, you get so motivated, and everybody thinks that you have to be confident in order to do sales. And that was not my story at all. The very first sale you ever have to make is yourself. These clients are like sharks. They will pick up if there's blood in the water, and they'll sense that insecurity, that self-doubt, those limiting beliefs that are in your own mind. There's a world of sales that's being played, whether you like it or not. You're just either in it or you're not.
Support for the show comes from Walmart. If you're ready for summer vibes but don't want to spend a lot, Walmart's got your back. Right now, Walmart's dropping prices with thousands of rollbacks and more on summer party essentials, from grills to coolers and even slushy machines. So whether you're firing up, cooling down, or just getting ready for a weekend in the sun, now's your time to save. Shop and save in the Walmart app, online, and in stores today. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Networth and Chill with me, your host, Vivian 2, aka your rich BFF and your favorite Wall Street girly. Today, we are talking about a huge part of getting rich, sales. And I'm no stranger to sales. In fact, I used to be a salesperson myself, brokering multi-million-dollar media deals at BuzzFeed. Working on a commission-based job was great for me. I worked harder, I earned more, and I got a ton of invaluable life experience along the way. But even if you're not selling directly at your job, learning how to sell is crucial to making that money. Everyone has at least to sell themselves to a better employer, to investors if you're looking to raise money for your startup, to a mentor that could give you life advice on managing and growing your assets, or giving you the opportunity to make that money. You can't get rich without learning how to sell. And that's why I invited Shelby Sapp onto Networth and Chill today. Shelby is the internet's favorite sales trainer, a personal friend of mine, and we are teaching women how to become seasoned sellers and find success by learning how to pitch and close deals today. With over 1.6 million followers on Instagram, people are already tuning in to the Queen of Sales advice. But today, you're going to be teaching us exactly how to turn ourselves into lean, mean, selling machines. Shelby, welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, so before we get started, let's do a quick little icebreaker. What do you think is the hardest thing to sell?
Yourself.
Why?
I've sold millions of dollars of high-ticket items, millions of dollars of low-ticket items, and that's a cakewalk compared to the sale that you have to make within your own mind before you even attempt to sell another human being. Because it's like, I mean, for a couple of reasons. Number one is like, if you are selling with your own bank account, you'll never be able to sell somebody else and convince them that it's worth what you're selling it for. For example, like when I first started sales, I was 18 years old and I was doing door-to-door sales, and I was selling about $1,000 a year pest control contracts.
Okay.
And I remember thinking to myself when I was 18, I was like, this is so expensive. Who would buy this? And when you have that energy, of course people are going to give you price objections, right? But I realized that I was selling with my own pocket because of course I wasn't going to buy. I was broke. But it's like—
You were 18.
Exactly. So when it's like, oh, this is so expensive, or I don't know if it's worth it, or I don't know if I'm worth this person's time, or I'm going to get rejected. If you carry that energy into a conversation, these clients are like sharks. They will pick up if there's blood in the water, and they'll sense that insecurity, that self-doubt, those limiting beliefs that are in your own mind. So I always say the very first sale you ever have to make is yourself. You have to sell yourself on why you deserve to be at this person's door, why you deserve to be at this person's phone, why you deserve their time. You have to sell yourself on the product that you're selling, and you have to know why it's worth it and how you're going to help somebody else before you can even attempt to have that conversation.
So you actually have to believe in what you're doing.
Yeah, of course. Like that's the biggest thing is like people think that sales is a commission, and yeah, it can be, but sales is a transfer of belief. So if you don't believe something yourself, you can't transfer that belief, you know? So you have to have conviction and confidence, and everybody talks about that. But how you actually get that is you need to first sell yourself on why you deserve to be the person presenting the product or service to this client, number one. And then number two is you have to convince yourself and really buy yourself in that what you're selling is so amazing and will help somebody's life.
And you mentioned high ticket versus low ticket. Do you think there's a major difference between selling door to door versus something that you're doing now and what you're teaching now, which is like high ticket closing, which is essentially when you work on behalf of somebody who has a relatively expensive, I would say multi-$1,000 product that they want you to help them sell?
Dude, door-to-door sales is like sales on hard mode.
Ooh.
It's like learning how to fight by just getting punched in the face every single day. Like that is how you learn door-to-door sales. That's the whole game, right? It's just a numbers game. It's just quantity. It's knocking as many doors and hopefully you'll run into buyers. It's not as technical and not as I guess like positioning yourself as the authority as much as high ticket sales is. So when you come in from something like door-to-door sales to high ticket sales, you're like, oh my gosh, this is a cakewalk. Because
So you think it's actually harder?
Door-to-door?
Yeah.
For sure, because the sale itself isn't necessarily harder, but it's the mindset. I mean, it's physical. You're outside in the heat, 120 degrees, like humidity. I would knock in thunderstorms. I would knock in rain. Like you have to go pee at a gas station in between doors. Like it's not pretty.
Yeah.
And so it's the mindset of like having to go through all of the suck physically and emotionally, and then also being in the right state in order to sell someone versus high ticket sales is somebody literally took an hour out of their day to book a call to sit down and talk to you about it.
Yeah.
So it's more of like a consultation.
There's more intent.
For sure. And there's notes. You can see who this person is, what their socials are like. There's more, I guess, structuring the pitch around the exact person instead of just treating them like a number.
And for the folks who are listening to this and they're like, Viv, like this episode's not relevant to me. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a seller. Can you explain a couple jobs that might involve some level of sales that they may not even realize it?
Serving to get a good tip. Parenting. You option close your kids when you want them to eat something for dinner. You don't just say, hey, little Timmy, what do you eat for dinner? Or what do you want to eat for dinner? Because he'll say like ice cream with rainbow sprinkles. And you're like, we're not having that, Timmy. You option close them. You're like, we have pasta, we have lasagna, we've got steak. What do you want? And it gives them the illusion of control. So I would say serving, teaching, parenting, job interviews, nursing, getting people to take their pills, do their medications, everything is sales. And that's the game that's played every single day. And sometimes people are like, oh, sales is icky, sales is evil, you know? Sales is just a transfer of belief, like I said. So if you believe that something's not in somebody else's best interest, then yeah, that's definitely evil. But if you really believe that you're trying to help someone, like, you know, a nurse trying to convince their patient to take their medicine, like you're going to transfer that belief. So there's a world of sales that's being played, whether you like it or not. You're just either in it or you're not.
Yeah. Okay. So I know this game or thing is usually done with a pen, but can we walk through a sales cycle or a sales process where you sell me this hair tie?
Of course.
Okay. All right, so you have the hair tie.
Why are we selling a hair tie? Why would you even want a hair tie?
I don't know. Like, I have to tell you this. You're going to ask me this. Yeah. Maybe so I can tie my hair up for my workout or get it out of my face while I'm recording.
Okay. I mean, your hair looks great right now, though. Why don't you just keep it down for your workout?
Oh, well, I don't want it to touch my back. Like, my back will be sweaty, and then, like, my hair, my blowout won't last as long.
Okay. I mean, what about, like, a clip? What about just kind of holding it up? Like, why do you want a hair tie specifically?
Well, the clip won't stay in place if I'm doing a high-intensity workout, if I'm jumping up and down. Holding it isn't really an option for me since, if I'm lifting weights, I need both of my hands.
You're talking about working out a lot. Tell me about your workouts. Why do you even work out? A lot of people don't.
I love working out. It helps me sleep better at night. I work with a trainer, so I'm focused on different parts of my body. But I think the ultimate thesis is that when I get older, I want to have the ability at 80 to walk stairs and run around and chase after my grandkids.
Okay, so essentially what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's not necessarily about a hair tie. It's about your ability to be 80 years old and experience life in a fulfilling way with your kids, being able to bend over without the ache. And you're willing to put in the determination every day by working out. And you want to do that right. Does that sound right?
That sounds right.
Okay, well, there you go. There's your hair tie. It's not about the hair tie. It's about, and the close would be this. It's not about the hair tie. It's about the transformation that you're going to have while using the hair tie through your workout. And I would ask you, what is an amazing life at 80 years old where you're fit? What is that worth to you?
Yeah.
It's probably worth everything, right?
Right.
Well, the hair tie is just $5.
$5 for a hair tie, Shelby.
But you're telling me it's worth everything.
Yeah.
What you're going to get from it. So it'll be $5.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
All right. I love that.
So to kind of break that down, the whole sell me this pen trick.
Explain this to me.
Yeah. So sales bros are obsessed with the idea of sell me this pen. And I prefer to sell more expensive items than pens.
I should have done earrings. I should have done anything.
Anyways, but the sell me this pen trick is to test and see if you're a trained sales rep. Because most people here, give me the hair tie, most people would say, oh, well, this hair tie, it's one of the best hair ties. You could put it on your wrist. You could put your hair up with it. Do you care about that? No, because we're just talking about a hair tie.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about my hair tie, especially if you don't want it, right?
Right.
So you have to dig for what the hair tie represents, and you have to broaden out whatever the product is to the transformation that this person's going to have, which is why I literally put it away and started asking you about your workout and what that means. So it's a test to see if you're just going to go straight into selling or if you're going to ask questions first. So if anybody's listening, whenever somebody says, sell me this pen, sell me this hair tie, sell me this whatever, the answer is you just take a step back and ask questions on what this person would even want and if they would even want it. And then if it makes sense, then you can offer the hair tie as a solution in order to get the transformation that you know that they want.
Do you think
Here's your hair tie back.
Do you think that asking questions first is the first step in every single sales process?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Sales isn't about being pushy or being aggressive. It's about being so curious about the other person's perspective. You have to put yourself into the other person's shoes. And the way that I teach my girls to do this is I think of it like a face on a diagram. So I want to know exactly what my client sees on a day-to-day basis, what they say to their friends, what they hear from their friends and their coworkers, what they do, what their pains, their gains are, what they go through every day. And then once I get so curious about what this person goes through and what they want, then I can plug and play and tailor the solution into that. But so many salespeople get it wrong because they just start selling. They just start pushing things when they don't even know what the other person wants, And everybody has different motivators of why they would buy. Some people want to buy something for the cheapest amount possible. Some people want to do it themselves to save money. Some people want to outsource things because their time's more important than money. Some people have ego behind a purchase and want to buy something because they want to show it off or be the best. Like, you have to figure out what will motivate this person, and then you tailor the solution with that motivator in order to put them into a buying atmosphere to make a decision on the spot.
Okay, so you just walked us through a bunch of reasons why someone would buy something. You call this rolling objections online, but can you talk to me about a bunch of reasons why someone wouldn't want to buy something from you and how you deflect and convince them that they do?
For sure, yeah. There's a couple reasons that somebody wouldn't buy your product or service. One of them is going to be time. One of them is going to be price. One of them is going to be support. For example, talking to a spouse, talking to a friend, doing research. And those are kind of the main three, right? But the way that you deflect those is a lot of people will say, quick rebuttals, like it's not time that you need, it's information, or, the price is this today, but the cost over the, X amount of months is going to be this in opportunity cost if you're not fixing this problem. Or spouse, you're going to go talk to them. You're either going to talk to them about a problem of, hey, honey, should I do this? Or a solution of, hey, I did this. I hope you support me. And that works to an extent, but the way that you actually roll objections is by holding space for another client and using the proof that they're giving you an objection as positive feedback in your own mind of saying, oh, this person's actually being honest with me about a purchase barrier, and I'm going to get to the bottom of that. Because a lot of the times, people just need to be empowered into a buying atmosphere. What the heck does that mean, though? Well, that means you have to urge people to make a buying decision out of their future transformation mindset. So again, what does that mean? Well, if somebody is purchasing, what is it that you sell? Like a financial investing?
I don't actually sell any like high ticket
Oh,
items.
really?
Like there's no course, there's nothing right now. Soon I will be launching an app. So
cool.
Hopefully that'll be the thing, and I'll give you a call and you can send out a SWAT team of, gals for me. But I think right now the only thing that I truly sell to my audience is the book, but you can also get that at the library.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's say that you're selling a book or an app about, financial investing, making passive income. And somebody says, it's too expensive, right? That's the most common objection.
Yeah, of course.
you can roll that by kind of offering them a different perspective of, is you saying that this is too expensive right now, is that the problem of why you can't do this, or is that the symptom of the problem? And you'd be like, well, what does that mean? Well, it means, is this the reason why you can't purchase something, or is it a symptom of the problem of you don't have the money right now in order to make a purchasing decision to better your future? For example, in 3 years, the version of you that has the passive income, that has diversified investments, they probably wouldn't look at $1,000 app or however much it's going to cost, probably not $1,000.
No.
I'm in the
It'll
world of
be
high
very
ticket. I love
affordable.
selling stuff,
Yeah.
very expensive stuff. But you say like that version of you, like that has everything that you're telling me that you want, what decision would that person make? Because in order to change your life, you have to make decisions out of the version of yourself that already has the things. So you urge people to get decisive, to make, quick decisions. If you're talking to a business owner, the business owner that's running a multi-million-dollar business isn't the same business owner mindset as the person that's running a startup,
Yeah.
The version of yourself that's doing all these big things you say you want to do, how do you think they make decisions? Do they wait 3 months, make sure or do they just make a decision and make it the right one every day? So you have to transfer the mindset of like, you're giving me these objections now because you haven't entered the transformation, but in order to get to that transformation, how do you do that? You make decisions out of the transformation mindset, which is being quick when you know that there's a decision you need to make, investing into yourself, making decisions for yourself, and not having to ask everybody involved. So that's more of like the real way that you roll objections rather than quick reframes.
And what are some really good like tools and hacks? You mentioned something earlier for parents. What is it called? Options?
Option closing.
Option closing. So instead of being like, what do you want for dinner? You're saying, would you like pasta or chicken?
Exactly.
What are some other types of closing strategies that our audience, can learn off the bat right now from you?
People love to say no. And so when you allow somebody to say no, it allows them to kind of get their win in the beginning and break that barrier down. That way you can change it to yes. So what that means is you should phrase your questions to chase the no. So for example, like, would you like to do this? Would be chasing the yes. Yes, I would like to do this. Yes has a very strong barrier to it in a client's perspective versus if you just change the phrasing of it and you're like, I mean, would you be completely opposed to doing something like this? Well, no, I wouldn't be completely opposed to it. It gives you a little bit more leeway rather than, phrasing it as a yes and then getting rejected.
Ooh.
Yeah, just like a little trick. There's a bunch of psychology in sales.
How did you like learn all of this?
Millions of conversations with clients. When I first got into sales, the short answer of how I got into sales would be some old millionaire guy told me to get into sales and I was like, sure. But the long answer would be I was working at a coffee shop and I was making like $8 an hour. And I was doing all these minimum wage jobs. And I felt like the internal perspective that I had of myself didn't match my external reality. Like I always saw myself as being the girl that's, rich, successful, businesswoman. But my external reality was no matter how hard I worked, I was just getting paid the same amount. So I realized that I needed to keep that work ethic, It wasn't the work ethic that was draining me. It was the fact that the work that I was putting towards something wasn't getting matched back into what I got. And so I transitioned into sales. And when I got into sales, it's just repetitions is how I learned. Like when you learn how to speak the right words and create money out of thin air, you get so motivated to train on every single scenario. If this person says this, then I pull out this track. If this person says this, then I go here. If they bring up this, then I know how to go. It's refinement of your craft.
Yeah.
It's a skill that you learn. And everybody thinks that you have to be confident in order to do sales. And that was not my story at all. Like you just do sales and then you get confident over time. It's like the quote, like you don't learn to swim by reading about water. You just have to jump in and you figure it out.
And you start kicking.
Yeah, exactly.
I love how you talk about sales. Like it's essentially like a real life. You know that scene out of Harry Potter where they're playing chess, but it's like a human-sized board?
Oh my gosh, that's literally sales. I say it's like you have to view a conversation. Okay, so if anybody's watching and they're like, what even is a sales conversation? I'm so confused. I think of things as visuals in my head. Maybe I'm just weird, but that's how I think of things. When I think of a sales conversation, and if it's super surface level, you're only asking surface level questions. The hair tie example, if I was only asking you like, what would you use for your hair tie? And I didn't even get to the deeper meaning. It's super surface level. Nobody buys on the surface. As soon as somebody gives you a pain point, you drill it all the way down. And then you're on a deeper level with this person that you can then have a wider gap between where this person's at versus where they want to be. And then this gap, how wide it is, determines the solution that you use to close the gap. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Support for the show comes from Walmart. We know Walmart has low prices, but did you know they do price rollbacks too? Right now, Walmart is dropping prices with thousands of rollbacks and more on the items you've been eyeing to upgrade your summer vibes. Imagine yourself lounging in the sun, enjoying some nice grill time, an ice-cold slushie, and hanging out with all your favorite people. Summer parties are the best, and we could all use one, like right now. So check out Walmart and save on that big cooler that always comes in clutch for group hangs, or a sleek new grill so you can finally become the grilling master. Not to mention, saving on that fun slushie machine that instantly turns any hangout into an epic party. For all your summer activities, whether you're outdoor biking or poolside lounging, Walmart's got it for way less. Do your future self a favor and save on your summer faves now. You can start saving and shop these amazing summer rollbacks and more right now in the Walmart app, online, and in stores. You talked a little bit about like your reality of working super hard at the beginning and like not having it match your internal view of who you are.
Yeah.
You have openly said that you don't think that working harder actually earns you more money, and that's something you're against. What do you think actually is the path that leads people to becoming the best version of themselves and that financial freedom?
I'm not against hard work.
Not necessarily just hard work, but the thought of like working at a corporate job and you put in more effort, put in more hours, that doesn't get you to where you want to be.
I mean, I was working my tail off doing all of these minimum wage jobs. There's nurses who work their asses off that are doing overtimes. They're doing doubles. There's servers that work 12-hour shifts, like on the feet, you know, their back hurts. So it's not about working hard. You should work hard no matter what you do, but you should combine working hard with working smart, because you can work hard at the wrong thing. And it doesn't matter how hard you work. If you're capped with a salary or with an hourly, then it doesn't matter. You know, like you can take pride in what you do, but if you want to get paid for your work ethic, and if you want to be able to sustainably have work ethic and not get drained or burnt out, you need to be paid for what you're putting into something. So that's why I say, like, everybody says entrepreneurship is risky, sales is risky, anything that's not guaranteed is risky. But I think that it's only risky if you don't put in the effort. Then yeah, you should just get a normal job. But if you are somebody that is an overachiever that goes above and beyond at whatever they do, it's the least riskiest thing you can do, because you start seeing yourself as the money-making machine.
Yeah.
You know, and when you start seeing yourself as your own sales business, you go harder. And when you go hard, that's when you get the benefits from it. Yeah. And it's not like the sales and the entrepreneurship gods just pick out of a hat who's going to be successful and who's not. Like, you're going to be successful, you're not. It's the people that put the work in and they're able to withstand what I call the suck period of you're putting so much work in and you're not necessarily it's
talk to me about the suck.
Okay, so the suck is when you first start. Okay. You know, you're putting so much work towards something and it's not necessarily getting back to you right then and there. Can I have the rubber band really quick? Yeah. Okay, give me this. This is what's
this
the
is
suck
our
is
hair
called.
tie now.
This is my you better send me the $5. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so this is the suck. You're pulling the rubber band back super hard, super hard, super hard. You don't even know how long of a time it's going to be. And then one day, it snaps.
Right.
That's when the work ethic that you've been putting towards for weeks, months, years comes back to you. It's not, you know, you show up and you get paid. It's you have to learn the skill. You have to train. You have to actually be good at your job before you can start seeing the benefits from it. But everybody quits. As soon as they start seeing this, they'll quit. They're like, well, it's not working. But guess what was right? It was right there. Yeah. It's like, have you ever seen that picture of the miner? Yeah, the miner where he's like working so hard.
It's always with gambling.
Put it up here. Yeah. Oh, it is.
Yeah. Not that.
Not that.
But yes, the miner who's
like it was right
this close
there.
To the diamonds.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you never, especially in sales, it's like you could have 10 sales conversations. And if you close 3 in a day, if that's your average, you could have 7 sales conversations. And maybe the first 7 were the no's. But the 3 yeses were at the end of the day. You never know when they're going to come. But you have to approach every one like they're going to be a yes. And you can't let the no's get get you down.
And I want to pivot this conversation just a little bit. I'm going to state the obvious. You are a beautiful girl.
Thank you.
Do you think appearances matter when it comes to sales? And how would you encourage people who work in a front-facing, client-facing role to think about that?
Looks matter 1,000%.
That's so honest of you to say.
Definitely matter, but not for the reason that you think.
Okay.
A lot of people think that, if you're attractive, you'll do amazing in sales. That's not the case at all. In fact, sometimes it can hurt you because people will just waste your time constantly and it gets draining.
Okay.
What I mean when I say looks don't matter or looks do matter in sales is that you have to match the way that you present yourself with what you're selling. So you have to relay a certain sense of competency. For example, if you are on a fitness offer, you are now embodying the fitness closer. If you are on a real estate offer, you're the real estate chick. If you are selling, something B2B where you're talking to professional business owners all day and you hop on the Zoom call and you're
better
wearing
have a blazer.
Yeah, if you're wearing a workout set, who's going to take you seriously?
Yeah.
Nobody. So it's not about physical attraction, but it's about the way that you present yourself depending on the character that you have to be in order to have somebody feel like, oh, this person's an expert in what they're selling me and I trust this person with my money.
That is such a great point.
Thank you.
What do you think are some sales myths that aren't true?
I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one, but I will die on this hill because I know it for a fact. People say the fortune is in the follow-up.
Okay.
False. 100% false. Let me tell you why. The worst mistake you can make in sales is when you first start out, you'll ask a new sales rep, oh, how was your day? And they'll be like, oh my gosh, it was so good. Like 3 people are going to buy, 4 is going to call me tomorrow and they're going to buy. And you're like, okay, cool. How many did you close? You're like, well, none, but they're calling me back tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, let me know tomorrow. Never call you back. Never answer your messages. Because some people are so scared of pushing people to a decision that they'll just take the easy way out of a warm maybe, because maybe a follow-up could turn into a yes.
Okay.
My opinion is I would much rather force somebody not to a yes, but to a decision. Like I'm a closer. I'm so divorced from the idea of getting somebody to say yes, but I'm so married to the idea of getting somebody to a decision. Because the way that I see it is if you are pushing everybody to a decision, if you pick up 1 extra yes a day by just pushing everybody, that's going to pay you so much more than having a million people to follow up with that never tell. Yeah, exactly. They never buy. Like very rarely. And of course, there's relationship sales that are more like B2B, or if you're a business owner, it's a lot different. But if you're just a closer, if you're just a salesperson, your job is to close. And close means yes or no. And I think you'll make way more money just pushing it the extra mile and getting the extra deals on the call.
How would you encourage people who are listening to this right now to command respect in a room the moment they walk in? Because I will say, when you walk in, you have an energy about you.
Thank you. I don't think it's about commanding respect so much. I think the purest form of being somebody that commands respect is you're so focused on other people. Like when I walk into a room, I'm so curious about everybody because everybody has a different perspective that you don't. And so the thing is like when you're so curious about someone and you get them talking about themselves, like my whole career, I've made money getting other people to talk. It's not me doing the talking necessarily. It's other people love to talk about themselves. And there's some sort of reciprocity that happens when somebody talks about themselves, their goals, what they're good at, to where they stop and they're like, wait, what do you do? And then you tell them. And when you have value to back up what you do, people are like, wait, you're so cool. Tell me about that. And they're more invested in what you're going to say when you allow them to open up first. So walking into a room, I mean, you can command respect by not being on your phone, good posture, taking care of the way that you look, make sure you look professional for each setting. But I think at the core of it, it's just getting so curious about another human being. And then once you figure out, like, you get them to spill, they'll ask you, and then the conversation's way more worth it rather than just walking in and, like, commanding respect from someone.
Okay, it's not about the respect, it's about reciprocity.
Yeah, and so, like, the psychology between reciprocity is, like, I mean, it's the time-old thing. When you're dating someone, you should ask them to do favors for you. Hey, can you open this for me? Or can you do this, and that? It's not because I can't open it, but it's because when somebody does a favor for you, they're more likely to like you. It's like a bonding.
Yeah.
So when you connect with someone first before you plug yourself in, that's the core of sales. That's the whole question-based selling before I show you what the product or service is. That's the hair tie method of me taking a step back and asking you before I plug it in. That's sales. And it's so fun because you can make a career out of it or you can just use it day-to-day life.
You hear that at my husband? That's why I ask you to get stuff off of the top cupboard.
Yes. Can you get me a water? It's late at night. Yeah, that's me.
Oh my gosh. Literally, he's already gotten comfortable. I'm like, it's so dry in here.
Yeah.
Please.
Can you fill up my hydro, please? Another good one for dating, relationships. This one's a little bit more on the not manipulative side, but
girl,
just
teach me now.
But just take it or leave it. Whatever it is, it works, and that's all I'm going to say. Is labeling. So you can get anything that you want from anybody. If you assign them a label, they will act in accordance to the label. What do I mean by that? Well, if I'm talking to someone and I want them to be making a quick decision with me at the end of the call, I'll take a step back and be like, really quickly, I love how decisive you are. Like the fact that you just saw this video and then you booked a call, like you're ready to go. I love that about you. Like you're very like in the mindset of I'm doing something today, which is cool. Or when it comes to boyfriends, oh my gosh, you're so thoughtful. You're so amazing. I love when you do this, this, and that. Like you are the best boyfriend ever. People are obsessed with when they have an expectation on them of like, oh, this person thinks I'm thoughtful, they will move mountains to
live up
to that expectation. Yeah. Exactly. So labeling someone in the accordance of how you want them to act, they'll start acting that way, just so you know.
Ooh, so we are telling all of our husbands, our boyfriends, that they are incredibly thoughtful. We love that they bring us flowers every week. We love when they make the dinner reservation.
Or even if you're at a networking mixer, okay, and you're talking to someone, you could say one of two things. One, you could say, oh, everybody here is like so cold. People aren't really opening up. What's that going to do is make the person not really open up to you, right? Versus if you go up to someone and you're like, isn't this amazing? Like everybody's so friendly. Everybody's so willing to connect. The connections here are insane. Like everybody's so sweet. This person's going to be more sweet to you because there's an expectation of being sweet in the room. And so that's why like people say you are what you attract, but it's really like what you label and the energy that you put out is what people will rise to the expectation of. So there is some truth to that, but it's just a little bit more technical.
Okay. Kind of our last pivot before we wrap. Imagine we are in a sales scenario and you got me. Like, I want to do this deal with you. Now let's talk about the negotiation. How do we do that? I feel like this is your favorite game.
This is my favorite game. And I would say there's 4 steps to negotiation.
Okay.
Number 1 is play hard to get. You have to be willing to walk away.
Okay.
Like, for example, the most common negotiation that anyone's going to go through is being on the buyer side for buying a car.
Or
right?
a home, yeah.
Or a home, yeah. Negotiating the price of something that you can negotiate, right? A car, a home, whatever. When you walk into the dealership, you don't want to be the girl that is dressed up, that Ubered to the dealership because she knows she's going to drive away with her car. Like, you can't give off the energy of like, today's the day I'm buying a car because these people will look at you, especially if you're a woman, like pray. They're like, I got her, you know?
They smell of fear.
Yeah, we're the prime targets for that. So you have to play a little hard to get. You have to be like, well, I'm just looking for a deal. You got me on a good day. I'm here because I do want a car. I do want this spec. But I mean, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And you have to be divorced, again, from the outcome. And just like, if it makes sense, it makes sense. But if not, no worries. And then number 2 is you need to be competent. You need to do your research. You need to know what the comps are. You need to be able to pull up listings of other cars in the area that are a little bit cheaper. You need to do your research on what things normally cost. Because when you can show, you know, hey, the wholesale price for this is this, like, why is it so drastically different? Like, if it's pretty much the same car, I'm just going to go over here. Because when you have research to back up the playing hard to get, they'll be like, okay, she knows what she's doing. Like, and these people are sales reps. So they want to sell it to you. It's just at what price. So that's the negotiation part, right? And then number 3 is you can only do this if you use time as your leverage. Okay, so don't be afraid of a long sales cycle on the buyer side. Okay, so if it takes, you know, a couple days, if it takes a week, if it takes 2 weeks to buy this car, the price that you're going to pay for the car goes down every day that you wait. These sales reps have a quota to make at the end of the month. Also, fun fact, go to the dealership at the end of the month because everybody needs to get their quotas in. Anyways.
End of the quarter too, and end of the year when the new models are coming out.
Yes. And then number 4, I would say once you get the price down with those 3 steps, you can always get a better deal, get another win by having them throw in things that increase the value. So that would be, you know, warranties, bonuses,
the
tires,
car mats.
Yeah, mats.
Yeah.
You know, a car wash delivering it to you. Like there's a bunch of things that they can add in that will give you a little bit of a better deal in the negotiation.
Oh, man. Okay, so we got to play coy. We have to be well-researched and well-informed. We have to not be afraid of a long timeline and then see how they can add value versus us lowering the price.
Get creative.
Bang. I mean, I feel like I'm ready to go buy another car, another house right now.
Well, every car that I have, I've negotiated it. The house that we just closed on, me and my fiance, we got it for half of the list price because we sat there and we negotiated. It was crazy.
I have to ask about that because I got multiple 6 figures off of our home and I felt like a wizard. But half? How?
So I will say a lot of it wasn't me. I truly believe in great timing. And we were preying on our living situation for like 6 months. So I do think that it was definitely a God thing of alignment where I was like, oh my gosh, we have to do this. But it was the seller situation. Like we structured our offer a super low ball in the beginning. I never start off high. Guys, if you're ever negotiating a car or a house, start off as low as possible. And the real estate agents actually told me, they're like, we're not going to submit that offer. That's way too low. That's borderline disrespectful. You've heard that before, right? Like, it's false. They're just trying to get a better commission. They have to present an offer if you tell them to present it. So force them to present the lowball offer because you get to see where the temperature check is at for the seller. And so you can see if they counter at nothing or if they don't respond, then it's like, okay, no problem. I'll just go get a different house. But you can see how much wiggle room you have depending on what they counter at. But it's also, again, putting yourself into the seller situation. I knew that her home wasn't ready yet. I knew that she was going through a big life change. And so it was a little bit more of an emotional sell because they built the house from the ground up. It was their dream house. And I got on the phone with her and I built the emotion up. I was like, Alex and I, we want to raise a family here. We're going to get married here. Like, I see this house being filled with amazing memories. And you can sell it to anyone, but like, I just know the energy and the abundance that we would bring to the area and all the neighbors that you're friends with. Like, we want to connect with them. Like, you can come over anytime. So there's a lot more that happens in negotiation than just simple price tactics. It's just seeing something from the other person's side and knowing what would motivate them to accept an offer.
And when you do it right, you get a house for half off.
That was insane. Then I was like, we have to move here.
That might be the greatest sale you have ever gotten.
It was listed for 35. It dropped down to 16. We got it for 7.
That's nuts.
It's nuts. Again, that's what I say. Like, I'm good at negotiating. That definitely played a role, but I do think like it was genuinely a God thing that he blessed us with that house. So.
I love that for you. So we are running out of time, but I want us to kind of close with a question that I think is really important. You became a millionaire at 23 years old. I became a millionaire at 27, and there are very few people I feel that can do it younger than me. So I am so proud of you if you'll allow me to be proud of you. But talk to me about what it means for you to be a rich woman.
Control, options, and freedom. That's
Explain,
it.
Please.
Money isn't something that you should glorify. Money isn't something that you should see as limited. Money is abundant. Elon Musk just became a trillionaire. Like, whatever you think the ceiling is, a ceiling is a facade. There's no ceiling that exists. Like, money exists everywhere. And so once you fix your relationship with money of, like, I can't get it, and I know, like, bills, things like there's scarcity around money. But once you change your mindset of, money is a scarce thing to money's abundant, the universe will literally like align you to attract money. As woo-woo as that sounds, it's so true. Like money is energy. And the way that I view money is I see money as a tool. I see money as like fun coupons. Like money's just a way that I get to live my life now. And once you start operating out of creativity and abundance and security rather than operating out of survival, you start tapping into a different part of your brain that you probably have tapped into before. It's a very niche thing to explain, but you start tapping into like a part of your brain that's alignment, that's more purpose driven, that's more, you know, I wake up out of the bed every day, not because of the money that I see in my account. That's a very fleeting thing, but I chase after purpose. I chase after changing people's lives. I chase after energy. I chase after feeling fulfilled. And then the money's just a byproduct.
Yeah.
So as soon as I started tapping into more of like the purpose behind it, the money just ends up flowing, which is great, but it's kind of like you have to shift your thinking.
What do you think was the turning point of when your money mindset changed?
At which stage? Because it changed constantly and it still changes, you know? Like when I was working minimum wage jobs, I didn't think that money controlled me. I've kind of always had this mindset of like, you know, you're probably not going to want to hear this, but I've always had this mindset of like, why save every penny and penny pinch when
Shelby,
I could just make more? No, let me explain. I've always chased after active income because I think before, and this is something we definitely should talk about, is like before you hit, I would say $10,000 a month, you should be, in my opinion, you should be focused on active income.
Yeah.
You should be focused on spending as much money as you can in order to create as much active income as possible, whether that be investing into your skill sets, starting a business, investing into networking events, into connections. Because up until 10K, you are your business. You are the money-making machine.
Yeah.
After that, I think, you know, you definitely start investing. Like I've got the stocks, I've got the real estate.
Yeah.
I think I'm the best ROI. Like the S&P, it's doing really well last year, but like, what is it, 30%? I don't know.
Yeah. The investments have been doing quite well recently.
But I mean, on average, what do they say, 8%, 8 to 10?
8 to 10 is average.
Okay, well, I feel like I can get myself a 200% ROI if I give myself the money, whether that be like taking myself to a spa appointment if I hit my sales goal, or, you know, taking myself on a trip if I hit a goal. Like, I love investing into myself because I see myself as being able to produce the ROI. But again, that only works on a smaller scale because once you have more tools to play with, then you can definitely diversify, and that's obviously very smart.
Amazing. And on that note, Shelby, thank you so much for being here. Let everybody know where we can find you, where we can follow you, and where we can learn more about sales.
Yes, at shelby.sapp on Instagram, Shelby Sapp Sales on TikTok, and I'm also on YouTube as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Support for the show comes from Walmart. If you're ready for summer vibes but don't want to spend a lot, Walmart's got your back. Right now, Walmart's dropping prices with thousands of rollbacks and more on summer party essentials, from grills to coolers and even slushy machines. So whether you're firing up, cooling down, or just getting ready for a weekend in the sun, now's your time to save. Shop and save in the Walmart app, online, and in stores today. Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of Networth and Chill, part of the Vox Media Podcast Network. If you liked the episode, make sure to leave a rating and review and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Got a burning financial question that you want covered in a future episode? Write to us via podcast@yourrichbff.com. Follow Networth and Chill Pod on Instagram to stay up to date on all podcast-related news, and you can follow me at yourrichbff for even more financial know-how. See you next week. Bye!